Start with the practicals. Today we will be looking at a practical named Y by bending. Okay, we had learned about three different modulus of elasticity. In fact, in our first year during our practicals, we had also studied one method of for measuring Y of a wooden scale, right? Y by vibration we had seen. But it so happens that sometimes the material that we want to measure Y, it is very strong and it doesn't vibrate that much. For example, a thick steel scale, okay, a steel scale which is around 0.5 centimeter or 1 centimeter thick, we can't make it vibrate, and we can't calculate Y using the technique of vibration. So we will be calculating Young's modulus of a material by bending it. Okay, so let's see what is the aim of the experiment. As I told you, it is to determine the Young's modulus of a material of a uniform rectangular bar by bending it uniformly. And what are the apparatus that we are going to use? We need a rectangular bar. Okay, we need two knife edges. They are long, okay, so that we can keep the bar on top of it and we can hang weight in the middle. We need a hanger with slot. So here you can see there is a hanger like this, and all this weight, each of these pieces weigh 500 gram. We need a hook. Okay, we need a hook on which we will put the hanger that we just saw. Then we have micrometer screw gauge. We also need a vernier caliper, and we will be using a traveling microscope. Finally, we will be using a pin. On the hook that I showed, there was a small pin. Okay, let's go back to the hook. See, here you can see a small needle that is placed, right? This is the pin that we are speaking about, and we will be looking at this pin through the traveling microscope, and a pin. So these are the apparatus that we are going to use. So the procedure is, first of all, we want to measure the breadth of the bar using vernier caliper. Once we measure the breadth, we also need to measure the thickness of the scale using a micrometer screw gauge. Okay, after that we will be measuring depression. So what is going to happen, on the two knife edges that we saw, we will be placing this steel bar or iron bar, whatever is given to us. Okay, at the center we will be placing those weights that we saw. Now when we keep on increasing the weight, what will happen, it will bend more and more downwards. Okay, and we will be measuring how much it is bending. We will be measuring the depression because of the weights that we are adding using the traveling microscope. Finally, we have to draw the graph and we will get our result. Okay, so let's look at it one by one. Determining the breadth B of the rectangular bar using vernier caliper. So here I have a small video for you. So this is how the vernier caliper looks. So there is a main scale. This is a fixed scale. On the main scale, you can see that there are readings in centimeters and there are readings in inches as well. Vernier caliper has two sets of jaws like this. So there is two huge jaws. This part of the vernier caliper is used when we want to measure the thickness. We want to measure the outer diameter. For example, if we have a beaker, so outer diameter of the beaker will be measured using these two jaws, and the inner diameter of the beaker will be measured using these two jaws. So here we have the vernier scale. On the vernier scale, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 divisions on the vernier scale, and the scale is movable. In most of the measuring instruments, the moving scale is the vernier scale and the fixed scale is the main scale. Now comes the concept of zero error. In case of this vernier caliper, you can see that the zero of the main scale and zero of the vernier scale is coinciding properly. So that means there is no zero error. When zero of the main scale and zero of the vernier scale of any instrument, if it is coinciding properly, that means there is no zero error. The instrument is proper. But sometimes what will happen, this zero of the vernier may be slightly in front of the zero, or it will be slightly away from the zero. So in that case, what is happening? Actually, the instrument should have shown you zero reading, but it is showing you some other reading because of the error in the instrument. So we will have to cancel out that error. Sometimes it can happen like this also. Here on the top we have the main scale. See, it is written in centimeters, and at the bottom we have the vernier scale. And we can see that the vernier scale, the zero of the vernier scale has not yet reached the zero of the main scale. Okay, that means it has to move further forward to reach the zero of the main scale. So if we want to cancel out the error, okay, should we add some value or should we subtract some value? Can you all see that this 0 needs to come forward so that it coincides with the 0 of the main scale? That means we need to add some reading. Okay, so such an error when the 0 of the vernier is behind the 0 of the main scale is known as a positive error. Okay, and we will have to introduce a positive correction which we will add on to every reading, because of which this error in the instrument can be nullified. But sometimes it can also happen that the 0 of the vernier scale is in front of the 0 of the main scale. Now if you want to bring this 0, bring the vernier scale 0 to the 0 of main scale, will you need to add some quantity or will you need to subtract some quantity? We will have to subtract, because we need to take the scale backward to make it coincide. So since we are subtracting some quantity, this type of error is known as a negative 0 error. Okay, so in most of the case, even in mostly the 0 error is 0. Now let's see how to calculate the least count. Least count is the smallest division on main scale upon total number of divisions on vernier scale. Can you tell me what is the smallest distance that can be measured using this main scale? Smallest division मतलब A0 से लेके फर्स्ट लाइन तक कितना है वैल्यू? What is the value between this 0 and this very first small line? It is 0.1 centimeter. Till here it is 1 centimeter, and there are 10 divisions between that. So each division will be equal to 1 divided by 10, that is 0.1 centimeter. Okay, so the smallest division on main scale is 0.1 centimeter, and the total number of divisions on verniers, there are 10 divisions. So it will be equal to 0.1 centimeter upon 10 divisions, and when we do this calculation we get the value 0.01. Okay, this is the least count. What does the least count tell us? It is the smallest measurement that can be taken by using a vernier caliper. It can give you a reading which is accurate up to 2 decimal points. Now the next question is how to measure something. As I had told you, if you want to measure the length or if you want to measure the outer diameter of some object, you keep the object between the two large jaws of the vernier caliper and you use the cylinder here to tighten it up. Once it is tightened up, we take the reading. Okay, we will just understand how to take the measurement also. There is a main scale reading, there is a vernier scale reading, and there is a total reading. How to understand what is the main scale reading? For main scale reading, we should always look at the 0 of vernier. Okay, 0 of vernier is the very first line of the vernier scale. Okay, we should check where the 0 of the vernier is. It will be always between two values. See here also the 0 of the vernier. So the 0 of the vernier is between 4.8 and 4.9 of the main scale. We have to take the smaller reading. The reason being that when we are taking the length, we are sure that it is longer than 4.8. Right? The vernier has moved beyond 4.8, but it has not reached 4.9. So if we say that the length is 4.9, it is wrong because it has not reached 4.9, but it has surely crossed 4.8. So the main scale reading is the smaller reading among the two readings of which is shown by the 0 of the vernier scale. So here our main scale reading is 4.8 centimeter. Now we have to find out the vernier scale reading. Now vernier scale reading again is a calculation. First of all, we have to find out the vernier scale division, and then we need to multiply it by least count to make it a vernier scale reading. And for finding out the vernier scale division, we have to look at a line on the vernier scale which is coinciding properly with the main scale. According to me, it is the 8th line. Okay, so 8th line is coinciding properly with the main scale. Vernier scale division can never be a decimal point value because the vernier scale divisions are whole numbers. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Saying the reading of a vernier scale division, remember that it has to be a whole number. Okay, so here the vernier scale division is 8. It is in division. We have to convert it into centimeter. For that, we will have to multiply it by the least. So we have to multiply 8 with 0.01 to get the vernier scale reading. So we had the main scale reading as 4.8. To that, we will add our vernier scale reading, that is 0.08. and we get the total reading when we add these two readings. So we get the answer as 4.88. That is the length of this thing that we are trying to measure. Suppose we want to find out the inner diameter of this object. So that smaller jaw should go inside, and we should keep on opening this vernier scale, okay, using this cylinder, so that they start touching the walls of the object that we are measuring. Let's draw the observation table. Let's write down the reading. Zero error is equal to 0 because 0 and 0 was coinciding properly. See, this is the steel bar that we are using and we are measuring its breadth. So that's why we have kept it between the two large jaws of the vernier caliper. So here I have already given you the readings, 3 readings for calculating the breadth of the scale. The main scale reading is always 2.5 itself. So we are measuring it at different points. It is not like we are measuring it at the same point. At different points on the scale, we are trying to measure the breadth, and we will take the mean of all these readings. Calculate the vernier scale reading and calculate the total reading. Calculate the mean as well, mean of these 3 values. So you have to add the 3 values divided by 3. So we have completed the first part of our procedure, that is measuring B. Let's go to the second part of our procedure, which is measuring D, that is the thickness of the bar. Okay, and for that we will be using a micrometer screw gauge. Okay, again let's have a look at the micrometer screw gauge. The part on which we have the main scale, okay, in centimeters, is known as the sleeve. Okay, and there is a small metal piece which is attached to the starting part of the U, which is known as stud. There is a huge cylinder. When we rotate it, this part starts moving front and back. This cylinder, we have a scale which is known as the circular scale. Okay, we have readings starting from 0 coming up till 99. That means there are 100 divisions on this circular scale. So we have a main scale. This main scale is also known as pitch scale. Okay, and then we also have a circular scale or the head scale. The circular scale, you saw how the cylinder was moving. The cylinder can rotate. That means the circular scale is the moving scale. That means this is the vernier scale of this instrument. How to calculate the least count? So there are 2 methods of calculating least count of a micrometer screw gauge. We can go by our normal method of calculating the smallest division on main scale, dividing it by the total number of divisions on the vernier. There is another method also of calculating the least count. For that we need to calculate pitch. Okay, so what is this pitch? Pitch is the distance moved by the screw divided by the total number of rotations on the screw. The 0 is coinciding with the 2 millimeter line, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to give it 5 different rotations. So when we gave it 5 different rotations, it started moving from 2 millimeter and it kept on moving till it reached 7 millimeter. So how much distance did it move? 5 millimeter, that is 0.5 centimeters divided by the number of rotations. Okay, so 0.5 divided by 5 will give you 0.1, right? So the pitch of the micrometer screw gauge is 0.1. For calculating least count, we have to divide the pitch of the screw with the total number of divisions on the head scale. So 1 millimeter divided by 100 will give you 0.01 millimeter. We need the readings in centimeter, so it is going to be 0.001 centimeter. If we calculate least count using our normal formula itself, which is the smallest division on main scale divided by the total number of division on vernier scale. So it is going to be 0.1 divided by the total number of division on vernier scale. So it is going to be 0.1 centimeter divided by 100, which will again give you the same answer, 0.001 centimeter. No zero error. That means when I am completely closing micrometer screw gauge with nothing in between, and when we are looking at it, the 0 of the vernier should coincide with the 0 of the main scale, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Okay, for example, here this line is giving us the 0 reference of the main scale. Okay, on all micrometer screw gauge you will be seeing a line like this, okay, which is giving you the 0 reference of the main scale. Now when you look at the vernier scale, if it had no 0 error, it should have 0 should have come here, but 0 is not coming here. Instead, what is coming? 11th division of the vernier scale is coming here. To make this 11 to 0, we have to subtract 11. That means to correct this reading, we will have to subtract 11. That means the zero correction is minus 11. And zero error is opposite of zero correction. So if zero correction is minus 11, that means zero error will be plus 11. The observed length should be minus this extra length. Okay, so actual length will be observed length minus this extra length that we are seeing. Here you can see, so the error is 11 into the least count. So correction is whatever value that we are measuring minus this particular value. Okay, similarly, it is not necessary that always there will be a positive zero error. It can also happen that there is a negative zero error. So let's try and understand what is a negative zero error. So what is happening here? See, when we close the entire screw gauge, we were expecting 0 and 0 to coincide, but here we can see that the 0 of the main scale is coinciding with the 90 of vernier scale. To remove this error, that means this 90 should become 0. The 0 should come here. If we add 10 to 90, it will become 100. Our 100th line and our 0 line is the same thing. So here, to remove the error, we need to add 10. To correct the error, we need to add 10. That means 0 correction is plus 10 and 0 error is going to be minus 10. We should take the value, whatever correction we want, we should take that value, multiply it by the least count and add it to our actual reading. So we will get our proper reading without the zero error. So this is how. So we have the steel scale and we want to measure the thickness of the steel scale. So we will be attaching the micrometer screw gauge like this. Here if you want to take the reading, let me just zoom in and you will be able to look at the reading maybe. Whatever reading is visible to you, that is going to your main scale reading. 0.6, that is our main scale reading. And for vernier scale reading, we need to look at the coinciding vernier scale division. Sixth division of the vernier scale is coinciding with the main scale. This is our reference line. This is our 0 line of the main scale. Okay, so it is coinciding with the sixth line of the vernier scale. So 6 into least count. Least count is 0.001. So 6 into least count will give you 0.006. So 0.6 plus 0.006 is the actual measurement. You have to and बीच में zero error का भी concept है, तो जो भी zero correction है वो भी करने का. If it is plus 10, then you have to add plus 10 to the vernier scale division. If it is minus 10, you have to subtract from the vernier scale division. As simple as that. For the measuring instrument that we use, the zero error was minus 25 division. That means zero correction is going to be plus 25 division. That means whatever value that you are getting on the vernier scale, that should be added with 25. So let's say in our case the sixth division was coinciding. So the actual vernier scale division will be 6 plus 25. That will be 31. That 31 is your actual vernier scale reading, which has to be multiplied with the least count. So here pitch scale reading means main scale reading. So this is your MSR or PSR, both means the same thing and it is remaining constant at 0.5. Okay, head scale division means vernier scale division. It is 65, 70 and 60. Okay, that means you will have to add 25 to all of these values. Okay, that will give you the corrected head scale division. Then you have to multiply that value with the least count, that is 0.001. That will finally give you the head scale reading or vernier scale reading. And then you have to add this vernier scale reading with the main scale reading to get the total reading. Find out the total reading and also find out the mean of the three readings that you are getting. So the mean thickness, which is small d, represented by small d, is equal to 0.590. So with that, we have completed the second part of the procedure. The first was measuring the breadth, second part was measuring the thickness. Now the third part is the actual measurement, which is measuring E, that is measuring depression. The first step is to place the bar on the knife edge symmetrically, okay, and adjust the distance between the knife edge L. So this distance between the two knife edge should be around 70 centimeter, okay, and it should not be such that when you have kept the scale, only a small part of the scale is here and a large part of the scale is on the other side. You have to kind of keep it symmetrically so that almost an approximately equal part of the scale is on the both side of the knife edges, so that balancing is proper. Okay, now I had told you that we have a hook which we will be attaching to this bar, on which we will be adding the slotted weights. Okay, so we have to put this hook. How to put the hook? So here also on the hook you can see that this side of the hook also has a knife edge sort of thing. This part is slightly V. So this knife edge should come on top of your bar. Okay, there is this pin on the hook, so that pin will be visible on the front. So here, so you have to put the hook such that it is coming in between the scale. Okay, so if this is 70 centimeter, at 35 centimeter exactly you have to put the hook. Once you have put the hook, you have to hang the hanger on the hook like this. Okay, remove all the weights and hang just the hanger on the hook like this. We are going to add weight on this hanger one by one till it reaches 2500 grams or 2.5 kg. Okay, once it reaches 2.5 kg, we will remove all the weights one by one. Okay, again we will add the weights one by one till it reaches 2.5 kg. Again we will remove it one by one till only hanger is remaining. We will keep on doing it for 3 to 4 times. Okay, we are doing this step so that there is uniform depression on both the sides. Before you also, many people must have done this experiment. The scale must have been used for many other purpose, because of which the bending on the scale will not be uniform. So for us to do this experiment, the bending has to be uniform, and by adding weights and removing it few times will ensure that the scale is bending equally from both the sides. We are not taking any measurement. We are just making the scale eligible for taking the measurement. We need to focus the traveling microscope at the tip of the pin attached to the hook. On the hook you had seen a small needle was attached. We have to use the traveling microscope, and we have to focus at the tip of that needle. Before that we have to understand how to use a traveling microscope. Okay, so this is how a traveling microscope looks. First of all, this is the part from which you will be looking. This black part is your eyepiece. Okay, this is where you will be keeping your eyes, and in front of it you will be keeping your object. To focus it, you will be using this focusing screws. When we move that focusing screw, whatever object is in front of this particular objective, it will become blurred out and focused. Okay, so this is the focusing screw of the traveling microscope. There is a small metal piece here, and there is a large metal piece here. This is a scale. So this entire strip is the main scale. It has got readings in centimeter, and the small metal strip that you see here, this is the vernier scale. So if you want to find out the length of something, if something is going up and down, so you will be moving this entire microscope up and down, and you will be taking the reading using this main scale and this vernier scale. Okay, similarly you can have this thing looking downwards. That means you are looking at something down from top, like that. Okay, so you can totally, and if you want to find the length of something which is lying on this board, then you have to move this microscope to the left and right. Again you can see there is a small metal piece here, and there is a large metal piece here. So this large metal piece is another main scale, and this is another vernier scale. So you can calculate the length of a material which is lying down also. You can calculate the length of the material which is standing up also using a traveling microscope. The screw. When you open up the screw, the microscope becomes free to move up and down. You can close the screw and it will become stable at a position. Same thing can be done at the bottom also. There is this screw at the bottom. Okay, if you open up the screw, this will be able to move sidewise as well. If we move the microscope up and down just by using our hand, it will jump by a larger distance. So how to take smaller readings? So once we fix the microscope, screw at the top is for finer adjustment. When you rotate the screw after fixing the screw, if you rotate the screw, the microscope will start moving up and down very slightly. So whenever we are taking the reading, we will be using this screw. We will not be moving it using our hand to find the reading. Similarly, there is a screw here. If you loosen up that screw, the microscope is free to move to its left and right. Again, you can also screw a screw at the end. Once you tighten up the screw, if you use the screw, the microscope will move slightly to the right and slightly to the left through all the fine adjustment screw. The screw at the top, is also a fine adjustment screw. The screw at the bottom is also a fine adjustment screw. All the fine adjustment screw will become activated only if these major screws are tight. Otherwise, they won't act properly. So, how to focus the traveling microscope? So, we put some printed material or written paper on at the bottom, and we look through the eyepiece. If it is looking blur, that means we will use this focusing screw so that the thing that we are looking at becomes clearer and clearer. So here you can see that they have put a cross at the bottom, and if we look through the eyepiece, we will be able to see that cross very clearly, very magnified, and very clearly we will be able to see that cross. On the main scale, if you look at it properly, again the readings are in centimeter, but in between every centimeter there are not 10 lines, there are 20 lines. So we will have to divide 1 centimeter by 20. That will give us 0.05. That means the smallest division on the main scale can measure 0.05 centimeter. And on the vernier scale, you can see that there are 50 divisions. Main scale reading will be shown by the 0 of the vernier. This is the 0 of the vernier. It will be coming between two readings. We have to consider the smaller reading. That is going to be your main scale reading. For vernier scale division, we have to check which line is coinciding properly with the main scale. That division multiplied by the least count will give us the vernier scale reading. Then we have to add them both together to find the final reading. Okay, so the 0 is coming between 3.8 and the small line, that is 3.8 and 3.85. So we will consider the smaller reading, that is 3.8. Okay, and now we have to look for a division which is coinciding exactly with the vernier scale. Whenever we are performing a physics experiment, we have to have a little bit of common sense in us as well. Why am I saying that? See, here we can clearly see that the 0 is much closer to 0, 3.85. So whenever we are looking for vernier scale division, we should look for a larger value. Only then if we add it, the final value will become closer to 3.85. If we go for a smaller value of vernier scale division, it is not closer to 3.85. To get a reading closer to 3.85, so we will have to go for a larger vernier scale division. So here we can see 49th line is coinciding pretty nicely. So we can consider the vernier scale division to be 48. In case of traveling microscope, we don't look for zero error because always the readings is between the values. We never start taking value from 0 onwards. So in most of the cases, we don't calculate zero error for a traveling microscope. Down in case of traveling microscope, least count will be equal to 0.001 centimeter. We were looking at the procedure for finding E. We have kept the bar between the two knife edges. We have attached the hook to the bar at the correct center. We have also hung the hanger from the hook. Okay, we putted all the weights, removed it few times so that the depression is becoming uniform. After doing all this thing, we use our traveling microscope to focus the microscope on the needle, and we have to focus it such that the tip coincides with the point of intersection of the crosswire. So whenever you are looking through an eyepiece, there is always a X mark. These wires are known as cross wires, and this crosswire is intersecting at this point. Now we have to focus the pin such that the tip of the needle is touching the intersection of the crosswire. The needle that we were looking at was facing downwards like this, but when we are looking through the microscope, the needle is looking upwards. This is because whenever we are using a microscope or a telescope, the image is inverted. So anything which is looking down, when we are seeing it through that microscope or telescope, it appears as if it is looking up. Okay, anything which is going to the right, if we are looking through the telescope, it appears to be going to the left. The image is always inverted. And this reading, when there is only hanger, okay, no weight is put onto the hanger, there is hook, there is hanger, and there is no weight on the hanger, and that reading is going to be our zero load reading. After this, what we do is we add 500 grams to the hanger. That is one entire slot weight into the hanger. Each weight is equal to 500 grams. So we add 500 grams to the hanger. So it will slightly bend, but that bending will be very small. It will not be visible to the naked eyes directly. When we add this 500 gram and when we are looking through the telescope, the image is inverted. So now the needle has gone up. Again, we have to bring this needle to the intersection point of the crosswire. So we will use that fine screw, and again we will bring the tip of the needle on the intersection point of the crosswire, and we will take the reading. We will again add another 500 grams. Again the scale will bend downwards, needle will go downwards, but when we are looking through the microscope, the needle will move upwards. Again we will use that fine screw to bring the tip of the needle on the intersection point of the crosswire. We will keep on doing it till all the weight is added onto the hanger. We only have 2500, we only have 5 weights, so we will go up till 2500 grams. This was the reading for loading. We were loading the bar with the weights. Now we also have to take the reading while unloading. So what we will do is, now the hanger is filled with 2.5 kg weight. Now we will start removing one by one. Okay, so when we remove one, what will happen? The scale will move upwards. It means the needle actually will move upwards. But when we look through the microscope, it is going downwards. Again, we will readjust it so that it is coming at the intersection point. Again, we will remove the weight. Okay, again readjust the needle, write down the reading. So this is the procedure of the experiment. You have to add the weight. You have to readjust the tip of the needle in the traveling microscope. You have to take the reading for loading as well as unloading. Zero load reading is equal to 9.25 centimeter. Now we have to calculate the mean R. So this reading, while loading, the reading that we got, we are calling it as R1, and while unloading, the reading that we are getting, we are calling it as R2. Now we want to calculate the mean of R1 and R2. So we have calculated the mean value of R. Now we need to calculate the value of depression. Depression is equal to R difference R0. The sign, this tilde sign, is for difference. Difference means the answer cannot be negative. You have to always subtract the smaller number from the greater number. First was measuring the breadth using vernier caliper. Second was measuring the thickness using micrometer screw gauge. And finally, we have measured the depression using traveling microscope as well. Coming to the last part of our experiment, which is drawing the graph. We have to draw a simple M versus E graph. These are the values that we have to work with. And the graph has to start from 0, 0. So once we start plotting these points on the graph paper, so we will have 5 points to the plot, and we have to draw a straight line starting from 0, 0. So when you are drawing an average line, you have to make sure that equal number of points are there on top as well as the bottom of the line. That is a good average line. So once you draw the line, calculate the slope of the line using the formula y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay. Whatever value you are getting in that slope, substitute in this formula. Okay, so all the values are in centimeters. So G value, we will consider it as 980. We know the value of small l divided by 4. D was the breadth of the scale. D the whole cube. What is D? D is the thickness of the scale. So look at the value of B and D, the mean value that we have calculated. Substitute this formula along with the slope value, and you will be getting a answer in this range: 20 or 21 into 10 to power 11 or 19 into 10 to power 11. Okay, so 20, 21 or 19 into 10 to power 11, if you are getting an answer in that range, that means you are getting a proper answer. And that's it. That's how we do this experiment. So by calculating the depression which is formed on a bar due to adding of weights, also we can calculate Young's modulus. So by now we have studied two methods of calculating Young's modulus of a material. If the material is kind of flexible, like a wooden rod, okay, wooden scale, then we can vibrate it and calculate Y using vibration. But if the material is very thick, like an iron rod or a steel rod, okay, scale with 0.5 thickness, it will not vibrate. So in that case, we can calculate the Young's modulus of the material by bending it, by adding weight to it. Okay.